an unconstitutional, unlawful law, Connecticut in Hartford, enacted last year, and that law very succinctly is this. If you have a so-called military-style assault rifle, now that falls into several categories, but needless to say, the only military part of this is perhaps in the looks. But if you have one of those, you are to register it with the state of Connecticut. Now, we understand that registration is what Adolf Hitler has done and numerous dictators throughout recent history, so that a list could be put together that at an appropriate time or an inappropriate time, the weapons could be confiscated. Now, the long and short of this is Connecticut, one of our colonial 13 states with a long history back during the time of the Revolution. Frankly, I would have never expected it, but then the way things are going today, it's not to be unexpected, and I'll explain that in a moment. They enacted this law and said that by January 1st, 2014, anyone in the state owning such a weapon must register it. If not, it is presumptuously a felony if you do not register. Now, of the roughly 9,000, and I hope that my figures are current and correct, maybe somewhere between 9,000 and 12,000, but somewhere in that area, there was an attempt made by some to, in fact, try and comply with the law. The state of Connecticut estimates there may be between 350 and 500,000 residents in Connecticut that own these so-called assault weapons. They did not register, and they are automatically now, as of January 1st, considered to be felons. The state of Connecticut has had to go into high gear to try and decide how they're going to meet this challenge. Are they going to send out the Connecticut State Police to enforce the law? And when that happens, I guess the question must be stated, what kind of response do we anticipate from a citizenry that has been placed in a position of obeying an unconstitutional law or surrendering? I can tell you what my response would be, but it doesn't matter. At this moment, it's not my decision. And I want to be very clear, Steve and Joe and Doug, because I feel a great responsibility to you three men, as I do many of the folks listening tonight, that what I say, because I am an ex-state trooper, I've been in law enforcement, I've been in the military, I've been in places where I have seen and participated in events that are so painful to recall that I don't want to see this happen again. I do not want to be a part of something like that. I will, if required, and I think of that great statue of the Minuteman standing on that ledge of rock, holding the flintlock in his hand with his sleeves, with his sleeves rolled up, and determined look in his eye, saying, "This must be done." What do you think those colonists thought against going up the greatest army in the world at that time? Of course, they were scared. Of course, they didn't know exactly what they were going to do, but they knew they could not retreat. They could not back up and surrender any more ground. It simply wasn't in the playbook for them. And it cannot be in the playbook for us. You see, fellas, what they've done is they have so maligned and twisted the argument here that Connecticut would even consider a law like this is beyond my comprehension and understand. But they've done it. And now, like the flashpoints around the world, which we'll get to in a little while, where are we going to come down on this? What will be left to us? The flaming bonfires of Kiev? Is that where we're going? It could be. Do I recommend it? Well, how can I speak for someone else? I can simply say, hold your ground. Do what you must. Because if it comes to my front door, that's what I will do. No reservation, no second thoughts, no, well, gee whiz, this isn't going to be a good day. No, sir, it's not going to go that way. Because if we do that, then the battle is already over and they won. How is it that men and women in the legislature in Connecticut can sit and listen to the bogus arguments presented to them about the Sandy Hook shooting, about the theaters in Colorado shooting, about the shootings wherever they might be, and this is driving them. It's not the idea that one teacher armed for the purpose of defending innocent lives could have probably stopped that whole tragedy. But no, we can't have that. Far be it from that. Dear God, we can't have a gun in a school. Well, somebody apparently brought a gun into a school and murdered 24 children and teachers. But it's not about that, you see. It's about stifling the Americans' ability to defend themselves on whatever ground in the U.S. Navy yards in Washington or anywhere else. It's become an argument that we don't have a politically correct standpoint when it comes to firearms. The one thing that guarantees our freedom, they want to take. So what does that tell you their agenda is, remains, and has become worldwide? It is stifle freedom, take liberty, no more destiny determined by individuals. It is we will let the machine take our decision-making authority from us. Connecticut did that to roughly 350,000 of its citizens, and now they're telling them, you're felons and we're coming for your guns? Please don't do this, Connecticut. Please rethink this, legislators. Please, state police troopers, don't do this. It could be the flashpoint of the second shot heard around the world.